Hey, what's up, everybody? We got the weekly close for Bitcoin, and it is the highest weekly close in history. By the way, we are approaching um, a very interesting level, and that level is the 2.272, which comes in at roughly about 105K. Next one above that would be about 113K at the 2618. So right now you can see we actually pumped way up here and then got slammed all the way back down. Don't you love it when that happens? So yeah, we have that pump, right? And so when we look at, for example, the 1 hour chart, and then let's get rid of that, you can see, yeah, we are definitely bullish. If you notice this trend line just about here, you can see right where we are, we're basically in the middle, the mean of the channel. And you can see we actually broke above it, but now we're sitting right below it. So I'd like to see, obviously, maybe even tomorrow or even tonight, getting back above that key area, which is that middle area. So as far as the counts go, obviously I'm looking at this as 3, or actually 5, 3, and then 5. So we have a running flat right there, and then we have a 1, 2, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it looks like we're getting 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we get up here and get 5. So 1, 2, let's get 3. Maybe we get an extended third, and then a 4, and then we go up and hit a 5. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is boom, boom, and then so we have 3 up, and then we get 1, 2, 3 down. Right? So it'd be kind of like a W, X, Y. Still, it's the same thing. It's a flat. And let's see, did that break the low? No. So this, yeah, so this would be a 1, 2, and 3. And then we have, if you look close right in here, we can see another running flat where we have 3 down, we have 3 up, right? Boom, 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 right? So there's your actually, yeah, you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1 3-way pullback. There's 2, and then we have 1, 2, another 1, 2, or actually this is the beginning of the third way. That's another way to look at it. Basically, all of these ways we're looking at it is definitely bullish. This area right here, which is at 102, was, such a key area to get through, and we were able to do it, which is a very good thing. So looking at it from like you have a shoulder, you have a head, you have another shoulder, right? So if we took that, for example, the measured move of that head, and we put that right there, I mean, we're nowhere near the target, which comes in at 110,500. So yeah, I think we'll get there eventually. The conservative way to measure that would be from here to there. And that still haven't met that one either, which is about 108, right? So 108 to 110 is the next step. Now, how can we get there? Well, the way I look at it is, number one, we can always have the potential to come all the way back down to 102 and back test, right? You break resistance and then you flip it to support. There's always that chance we can come all the way back down to 102, which is not that big of a deal, but for the altcoins, it could be a big deal. And we're already seeing, right? We were looking pretty good once that weekly close happened, but now we got an ocean of red. You know, you got Flow down 3%, Litecoin down 2%, SHIB down 1.5%, 2.25% for CRV, 3% for DOG. Monero's actually up, which is good. Axelar, XRP, 2%. I mean, it seems to be a 2% theme here for the market at the moment, right? The candle just opened, so we'll see what tomorrow morning lies. But typically, the way it's been going is Sunday's kind of bearish, Monday's bearish, Tuesday's kind of wah, and then once we get into like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it starts picking up a little bit. So we'll see how that plays, but again, I'd like to see sort of a calm. So I mean, yeah, to me it's better to have like a chill Monday and, you know, pick up. That way you have a stronger weekly close. But yeah, we're definitely dumping right now. I mean, look at that. Just completely... So I'm trying to look at the small time frames, kind of see what see the wave structure here. Yeah, it doesn't look finished. I mean, this is a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this, and then continue higher. Let's check Ethereum here. Ethereum looked really good earlier. I mean, it looked really good. You had 1, 2. I mean, you basically have, okay, you have 1, 2, 3, and then you were flagging out here for a 4, and then you had a 1, 2, 1, 2. You broke the flag, and now it looks like you're coming all the way back down to either test the downward resistance line. Let's see. I would not be fooled by this red candle. I think it's just testing the waters at the moment. Definitely want to stay above this area here. And yeah, so this would be the area to look for a bounce or even a reversal. So that would be, yeah, look at that, right in the middle of the 618,702, basically like 3,900. Yeah, 3,900. That's kind of where we need to stay above. Otherwise, what we have here is going to be something more complex, which is you get a 5-wave move down, you get a 3-wave move up, right? And then you get 1, 2, 3 down. So it'd be kind of like a weird rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. Again, when you're in the middle of the retracement levels, it's always like a washing machine, especially right in here. You go up, it's easy, easy. You have a big dump, you come back up, and then you just like, what's gonna happen? And then you kind of poke up, come back down. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that could happen here, but usually it's part of a B wave, or it's part of, you're gonna flag out and continue, or you're going to get some kind of flat pattern here and then continue. What else could it be? Well, we have broken this trend line here. And then also when we zoom out, let's go to the weekly. We are really at a key area. I mean, you can see this spot here, this spot there, all under here. This, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 key weekly areas spanning over the last 4 years or so, and that's right where we are. So let's see here. I'm going to put one right there. Actually, I'm going to put one right there. I'll put another one right there. And that's kind of where we're at. We're sort of in the middle of these two lines. So if I go to the daily chart, those are the two lines, we really need to get through. And that's the strongest resistance for Ethereum, is that basically just say $4,000 area. So 4K has been pretty tough. So what else could this be? Well, we could have ourselves just a regular A, B, C, and come all the way back down to like $3,400, and then go, right? That's not confirmed yet. There's just no way to know at the moment right now. You sort of have, you don't really have good 5-wave moves here. You got 1, 2, 3, but you can kind of say it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a 1, 2, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, and then 2, and then you have a big markup, part of the third, I would imagine, and then you kind of correcting in this area, and a lot of chop, and that's to be expected because of the retracement levels getting through. So it wouldn't be such a bad thing if we kind of flagged out in here for a little while before continuing higher. I mean, it might take until next year to actually really get this thing moving. We're just gonna have to see. Velo actually did pretty good. I mean, the daily candle, I was actually trading it earlier. Yeah, we had a pretty solid break. This is what we want for Ethereum. Like, these altcoins, I've been saying, these altcoins are not going to wake up until Ethereum wakes up. I mean, some of them will, some of them have, some of them, like XRP and, but the majority of the market, like when we look at Theta, for example, you're stuck right in these retracement levels. So in order for it to break out, you need Ethereum to break out. I mean, that you don't need it, but it's really necessary to give that confidence for the rest of the market. Hey, Ethereum, the big dinosaur did it. We can do it too. So when we look at Theta, it was looking pretty good. It still looks decent. We have this big expanded flat. we have 1, 2, 3, or actually, let me go down to the 1 hour and see if I can see anything a little bit better. Yeah, it's not really helpful. I mean, we basically got an impulse, we got a three-way pullback, and when you look at this, obviously we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that was your C leg, A, B, C. And then we had this big 1, 2. And it looks like we have another 1, 2. And maybe this thing can get rolling pretty soon. We go down to the 15-minute. Yeah, it looks like a big 1, 2. You know, 1, 2, 1, 2. Otherwise, we might have ourselves a big flat here. I don't think so. That does not look like a B wave. For example, 1, A, B, C, 2. So this is a three-wave move to the downside, right? So you have 1 and then 2 are running flat. Obviously, it might not be finished, right? You could have some kind of bigger move down, right? Let's see where the trend line is. We put that trend line right there. Yeah, see, we still got some room to the downside. Doesn't mean we'll hit it, but it's there for support. Let's go even closer. Let's look at the smaller time frames. Yeah, this looks like a finished wave. This looks like a three-way pullback. So we get 3 up, we get 3 down, and we're sort of right at support here, so maybe we can get 5 back up and look for a retrace back to the upside. That's what I would like to see. Or if we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, then this could be like a 1, 2, all of that's 3. We get 4, and then we get a diag for a 5th, hitting that trend line and then continuing. Right? If we break it to the downside, what do we got? Well, we got a B wave, basically. Again, you're right in the middle of the retracement levels. You're just getting away from the scene of the crime, right? You had this big dump, remember that? So we're just trading daily candles, getting away, right? So it's all up really to the market, which way it wants to swing. Let's see here. I just don't think it's a B wave right now. I mean, if it is, it would be a zigzag. So it'd be like you get 3 down, right? And then you get 1, 2, 3 up. So that's an A, B, C. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Okay. And then this is not a 1, 2 though, because it broke the high. So unless this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is a 1, 2. And now we're coming down 3, 4, and 5. And it basically is 3 down, 3 up, and then 5 down. Or it could be 3, 2. So some type of zigzag pattern, which basically is a big flag, right? You're flagging out in here. Boom, 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 and then go. So we all want the price to get going. We all want it to move. But sometimes, you know, we just got to be patient and wait and let the market tell us what it wants. Because right now we're just kind of, you know, consolidating. So let's take a look at XRP. What are we doing? Yeah, see, it looks bearish. It just doesn't look ready yet. I mean, It's a tough one because there's a couple ways you can look at it. Obviously, we got this three-way pullback. You got an impulse, you got a three-way pullback. That's exactly what you want. That's bullish. When you get a five-wave impulse and a three-way pullback, that's exactly what you want to go continuing higher. The question is that three part of a bigger correction, meaning, you get five up, you get three down, you could get three back up, and then three back down, and then you get a bigger three-wave move and then go. That's the tricky part. And right now you're sort of just right here, not really giving us any clue what it wants to do. So if we zoom in, obviously that's an impulse. That's a three-wave move to the downside. And then you have, so that's a 1, this is a 2, and then it looks to me like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's another 1, here's another 2. And this could be another 1, ABC 2, and now we're getting a 1 and maybe another 2. And maybe it's just getting, it's revving up in here to break out. That's one way you can look at it. Another way you can look at it is that we're getting some type of move like this, where this is a 1, this is a 2. We're going to get 3, 4, and 5. Get back down to these lows around 210 or so, and then continue. So we need it, the longer it takes to break this area, the weaker it becomes, and the more likely people are going to give up and they're going to sell. And you have a shoulder, you have a head, and you have a shoulder. So you basically have a head and shoulders here. And if you look at the trend line, we take this here, we go up, and then we take this here. That gets you down to about 220. So that's a 20-cent drop, right? And even if we do drop, it could still be a 1, 2, right? This could still be a 1, and then we have to come all the way down for a 2. So 1, 2, and then go up, right? So yeah, it's kind of a wait and see. It's just kind of slowly doing its thing, and a lot of times it'll come down here, it'll make you think it's going to break, and then it'll come right back up, and it'll make you think it's going to break out, and then it'll come right back down, and then it's just like, okay, what's it going to do? It's just cooking, and you just have to wait until it gives you a decisive move. But then it's like, well, then how do you get on the right side of the trade before that decisive move happens? Well, you just have to watch it. You have to track it. It's kind of like two detectives in a police car out late at night staking, like a stakeout, and you're tired, you want to go home, but you got to watch, you got to see if the suspect comes home, you got to see if he leaves, you're tracking him. And that's just the way it is, that's what you got to do. So that's XRP. Ultimately, this thing's going higher. Why? Because when you zoom out, this thing is doing exactly what it did back over here, which is basically breaking this structure, you can see, right? And then you come down and you're back testing it, right? This retracement level. This chart doesn't go all the way back, but it looks like that on a different chart. Okay, so this is kind of what we're doing here, and then we continue higher. So if you look at where we are now, basically the same thing. You have this little area, you broke out of it, you came back down, you're retesting it, you play a little bit, and then eventually you get going again. Now, could it be different this time? Yeah. How so? Well, it would be more bearish. It would be probably coming down to 150 or 140 even. Basically, retesting these two areas. Right? So having something a lot more devastating for some. And then what you have is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get a monster fifth. Hopefully above, $7, $8, $9, $10 around that area. And even higher. Could go much higher. Right? So even $15. So but yeah, we're just have to be patient here. We look at Aave. Aave's coming up here on the monthly. We got 15 days, so we're halfway through the monthly candle. Let's see if we can break out. All right, let's look at. So CRV kind of told us what it was doing, which is this is no longer a 1-2-1-2 anymore because we broke it. So most likely we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, and then you have 1, 2, and then all of this wave here is 3, which is a B. Or actually, these 3 are a B. And then this 1, 2, 3 could be a C. Or actually it'd be a, see, we broke the top. That's a tough one. Well, it would have to be 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. And that would be some type of flat. So essentially it's a 3-way move, right? You got that. And then continue. Yeah, it just looks bearish. It just looks like you got all these little mountains here. As opposed to doing this. When you're doing that, that's different. Right? That's bullish. But when you're doing this, that's bearish. I mean, that's one thing that's a very classic thing to see is anytime you get these W's, U-shapes, your cups, those are bullish. You get your M's, those are bearish. So, it could be done, right? It could be done. For example, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And notice right here, look at this. This is actually interesting. You come down, right? You build a little area, and then you hit the high, and then you quickly come back up. I've seen this before. I think in Monero, and it was over. So I think this is it right here. See how you come down, right? You actually pop the high, and then you come down, you take the low, and then you get back to these highs here. So we look at CRV, kind of something similar, how we're, you hit the high, you know what I mean? So yeah, we'd have to wait and see. Anytime you build a range and then you quickly come down and you grab that liquidity, that was a liquidity grab. You come back up and then you take out the liquidity again, and then you come right back in the middle, and then and then range. I was gonna say when you do that, that's bullish, but you don't want to come up and take the top. You want to come up and then flag out, get your momentum, and then break the top. You break the top too quick, then it's just a trap. But we didn't break this top. We only broke that top. So let's look at dog. When we look at dog, you know, on the higher time frames, it still looks great. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is the whole chart right there. And this whole chart is just dying to break out. I mean, you are so close. And it's not like you get up here and you just get violently rejected and dump. I mean, you're getting up here, right? And you're sort of cupping into the resistance, cupping into the resistance, cupping in. So you're weakening it. And eventually, the idea is you will break it. So, not financial advice, we could still go and come all the way down and just, because you technically have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't look like it's finished to me, though. It looks like, I mean, it could technically be finished because you do have 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is a diagonal, then it is bearish. The reason why is because we should expect some type of three-way pullback, right? So like a 1, we have a 2. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 1, another 2. And then you could say, this would be 3 and a 4. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be 5. Notice how the 1 is bigger, the 3 is smaller, and the 5 is even smaller because you're getting wedged in there, right? Think of it, like that. Which would mean you would need what? An A, B, C. Coming right all the way down, probably around wave 1. And then you break out, right? So how do you know which one's going to be? Well, I think we're going to break out. That's just me. But if we do go through that route, then the first thing I would do is wait for that low to be taken out. Then I would wait for that low to be taken out. Then I would wait for if this low gets taken out, then yeah, I mean, you can pretty much guarantee we're doing that. But if we sort of stay in this area, I'm thinking we're gonna push higher. Let's look at BOEM. So BOEM's still kind of, hanging in there. You got this same chart like dog, but instead of it being way up here, right? Dog's up here and it's pushing and it's pushing and it's pushing and it wants to break out. BOEM is sitting here. It's still quiet. It's still got a long ways to go, but it honestly looks really good to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why does it look good? Because I already have the ABC, right? I already have what dog doesn't have, which is the A, B, C. I have the 3-wave move. So you have a 1, same thing, 2. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And that's another 1, 2. And then you have an A, and then a B, and now this is a C. So now what? Now we want to kind of build a little bit of a base, get away from the scene of the crime, and then get the hell out of there. So that's kind of that's my main idea. That's how I'm thinking of it. Now, what if we take the low out? If we take the low out, then obviously the C wave isn't done yet, but I think it should be. You got some pretty, Yeah, you got bullish divergence between the third and the fifth. So it looks done to me. You know, you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks done. And then, so what now? Right? Here's your three-way pullback. What now? Well, now you got a 1, 2. And you're kind of chilling out here a little bit. So what do we need? Well, we need at least 1, 2, 3. And if we can get 3, then we look for 4. And then we get 5. But if we get 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we get rejected, then we could just have 3 up, 3 down, and then 5 up. Right? Kind of like what theta did. Back over here. So here's theta. And then when we zoom out, look at this. Same thing. 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3 down. Come right back down here. Boom, boom, boom. And then what happened? You blasted off. So we go back to boom. We zoom in. And basically, if I translated that, it would be like this. 3 up, 3 down, right back down to here, and then we would blast off 5 up. But I'm still kind of looking for this move. I still want to see a pump here. And what I'm seeing here looks, on some charts it looked better. This one broke the low. Because I wanted to say it's a diagonal. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you would get an ABC, and then you continue, and that's your 1, that's your 2. So I believe Axelar, yeah, Ave looks pretty bearish on the 30-minute. So right now, I mean, it looks like a head and shoulders here. You got 3 down. You got this move. Okay, so what I think here, all right, I see what's going on. So what here is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that's 4, that's 5. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's A. And then it looks like we're getting some kind of B. And then maybe a C. And then a continuation. That's kind of how I'm looking at Ave for the moment. CFX, same thing. Same looking thing as Bohm. Theta. Theta, well, no, I'm trying to figure out which one had the diag. Because they both, this one doesn't have the diag either. This one kind of looks more like a 1, 2, 1, 2. Sheeb. Okay, so Sheeb, you know, you got this 3-wave move down. You got an impulse, and you got another 3-wave down. So you're flagging out. You got a 1, 2 here. So I really believe that we should come up here. I think that's where we're going. It's got to prove it to me that, you know, and the first step by doing that is to simply break the downward resistance line. And since we're holding support here, right around this vicinity, you know, around these order blocks in here, right? Maybe we can coil our way in and break out. So, yeah. Now Sheeb on the weekly, you know, it's basically battling this area up here, right? So we have a very big cup. You could always get a handle. And a lot of times when you do have a big cup, you do get a handle. And if you do get a handle, then that's a 4th wave. Then that means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C for the cup, and then you really accelerate. So we haven't even begun all season yet, right? Because Sheeb is at such a big area. I mean, this is the trifecta, right? You got 1, 2, 3 points of its entire life. This is basically its whole life. And even over here, if you count the wick, right? So this is a definite key area. And when you break this area, you really don't have much resistance left, because there's really there's no more weekly order blocks above this where we are here, which is at 32.45, around there, except maybe one more small one at 38.81, and then the all-time high weekly close at 67.55. But yeah, it's definitely interesting where we're at on a lot of these coins. You got Algorand here, just kind of consolidating, right? You got a nice impulse, 3-wave pullback, and you're just kind of waiting for some volume to kick in here. And yeah, so it's kind of just a wait and see, nothing really going on here. XRP versus Bitcoin is coming down. We got 3 here. Looks like you got 1, 3, 3, and then maybe 3. So that whole thing could be 3 like that. Another 3, another 5 up. Total 3. I haven't looked at this in a little bit. Now total 3 looks actually pretty good. You got this trend. You got the big dip coming right back down to support. You bounce off, and now you're flagging out. So the idea here is to get that flag and break it. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Not financial advice. Just always remember, these are just ideas. We're speculating, especially when you have point A, point B, and you have point C. When you're right in point C, that is always the unknown, right? So it's kind of like you just have to track it hour by hour, minute by minute, and just kind of see. But as it stands, as it looks right this moment, it actually looks good. The reason why is because we have an impulse to the upside and we have a corrective move to the downside. And the 30-minute chart just basically looks kind of like theta in a way. You got this sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you got a 1, 2, 1, 2. Or it could be 3. So, yeah, we just have to see. We got to wait and see. But, yeah, that'll do it. Cheers.